Okay, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody is well. Happy Monday for those that are joining us live. Thanks so much for joining us on the Boost. It's so great to be with you. Yet again, we've been talking about this concept of perspective, macro. Thinking big, realizing that if I'm working in the wrong direction, what am I doing? Right? If the ladder's on the wrong wall, then even if I climb it, I'm going in the wrong direction. And if I don't think through what wall I put my ladder on, and I keep on working, I end up not producing. So many of us spend so many hours of our lives working, but we're not producing. We're not moving forward. Perspective, being macro. This is very much connected to the upcoming holiday coming up. The holiday is Passover. It's coming up in 1 week. Just as a public service announcement, we will not have a show next week, the whole week, but we'll be returning the following week. And I'm sure, as you'll see, Passover will be very much connected to this week's theme. A, because it's on my mind, and I try to be just straight. It's on my mind, I want to share it. But B, because it has within it an enormous amount of wisdom about the stuff that we're talking about. We don't have holidays because we commemorate what took place thousands of years ago just because. It's not how we roll. If we're doing something, it's relevant today. So somehow the story of Egypt and the Jews getting out is relevant today. Freedom. Freedom is not a concept that is based on geography. There are people that are sitting in mansions and they are enslaved. Freedom it's also obviously physical, but it is also emotional and mental and spiritual. And so when we think through freedom and we think through what it takes to be free, those are concepts that are within the Passover theme, and those are concepts that we're talking about right now. So this is a unique week of overlap. We were talking last week about this idea of perspective, gaining perspective, seeing. It's amazing if you see the story of Passover. We have this, maybe one of the most famous rituals, the famous customs. And again, if you're Jewish, I'm sure you know about it. If you don't, I'm sure you've heard about it. Even if you're not Jewish, I'm sure you've heard about it. Because this is it has gone to popular culture even. The concept of a Passover seder. Concept of sitting around the table and talking about the Exodus, leaving Egypt. Well, if you would ask yourself, when was the seder, first ever seder, when do you think it would be? Right? If I would ask you on a test, right, when was the first ever seder? My guess, you would say, is the year after they left, right? It's the anniversary of leaving, right? The year after. You get married, you open up the book. Well, back then, I don't do it now, but I got married. They gave you like this massive, that massive wedding book. Do they do those anymore? I don't know. I don't think they do. I would wonder if now you get, what I'm talking about? Those big, heavy books that's supposed to go on your coffee table. I don't think they do those anymore. But you look back. I can't believe the day. I can't believe how much weight I gained. It's an anniversary. Your first anniversary is a year after you get married. So the Seder, which is the time where you tell the story, probably took place the year after you left. So you could tell the story, right? The first Seder was probably in the desert. The Jews are sitting around going, I can't believe it's been a year. Like, can you imagine last year we were sitting here? I know, it's amazing. You thought about that? I can't believe, we got out, the matzah, the whole thing, the plagues. Holy cow, do you remember blood? It was awesome. There were really a million frogs. We split the sea. This is great. Let's get around. Remember, drink the wine. Remember that matzah? Yeah, you have any matzah? That's probably what happened. Don't forget, kids. Don't forget, kids. Second, third, fifth. And now we're sitting here today. That was the first ever Seder, do you know? Trick questions. Use this for those of you who are in Seders, or going to be conducting Seders, or going to be participating in Seders, or know somebody that will be in a Seder. Ask them this question. When was the first ever Seder? You know what they're going to say? The year after they left. Unless they know the answer. Because that's not when the first Seder was. You know when the first Seder was? The night before they left. That's right. The night before they left, they had a Seder. commemorating leaving. Does that make sense? Imagine first anniversary party the night before the wedding. That's weird. That's what it was. The night before they left, they sat around, they leaned, they ate matzah. They ate matzah. Remember, the story of matzah was we couldn't bake the bread when we left. Well, the night before they left, they ate matzah. How is that ever the first? What's up? Maybe the answer is that the seder doesn't commemorate leaving. Maybe the answer is that the seder commemorates freedom. And maybe what's happening is that God knows that freedom is not based on geography. You don't go from sand dune A to sand dune B and now you're free. Freedom does not take place in your body. Freedom takes place in your mind. God knew for me to bring freedom to these slaves, I gotta first make them free up here, and then I can make them free in the rest of their body. So before we leave, get in the house, lean, eat the matzah, drink the wine, have the sacrifice, and eat the meat. Be ready to roll. Have your walking stick right near you. Be free. Because when you're free in your mind, then you can be free in your body. And in fact, the rule, the law is that we should see ourselves as if we walked out of Egypt. In our minds. You can't solve your problems if you're still in the forest. You can't come up with creative solutions if you're still in the forest. You can't get out of your own way if you're still in the forest. You can't overcome your emotions if you're in the forest. You can't. It doesn't work like that. When you're sitting in the Egypt that is enslaving you, whether that is a temptation that you fall to, whether that is an emotion that you feel that overwhelms you, whether that is a way of thinking that you keep on persisting on, that seems to cause a gap between you and somebody else, whatever it is that is holding you back, it's your Egypt. That's your personal Egypt that is enslaving you and keeping you the same year after year after year. Perpetuating the same stuff. How do you get out of your Egypt? It starts with your mind. You gotta visualize something else. Visualize what it would be like to overcome. Visualize how you would like to be. Visualize the ideal scenario. See yourself out of Egypt even though you're sitting in Egypt. Because there's no other way of getting out. Walking out that won't help. You can have everything you want. There are people like this all the time. They have all the resources available to them, but they don't know how to execute on them because they've never seen it before. They could not say something. They have the power to not speak. They have the power to say something nice. They have the power to not do something. They have the power to take on more responsibility. They could, but they can't in their minds because they've never seen it before. Want to be something? See something. See it first. And when you see it, see the freedom, taste the freedom. The world around you could be going crazy, but you taste that freedom, you're beginning the path of freedom. That's how you leave Egypt. And Egypt still exists. It's just in each of our lives. All right, we'll talk about it. All right, everybody. Have a great day. With God's help, we can only see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Living on a lifeline. The world doesn't ever seem to change. Looking for the sunshine, but you're caught up in the rain. It's like your eyes are wide open, but you cannot see. You're watching life pass you by like 1, 2, 3. Walking in destruction. The winds of life blur your vision. All the devastation forever feels like you're on the run, it's time. No one else can set you free, you're locked inside. And only you have got the key.